Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Movies with Actors or Actresses I Like or Love Month. This time we're talking about a 90s film that I just saw on Peacock today, and it's with Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn, two actors I do like, and it's called Bird on a Wire. Yeah, I've never seen this before. 30 years ago, it came out in the summer movie going season, May 18th, 1990. I was 5 when it came out, so pretty awesome movie. I liked it. I think it's an underrated film, kind of overlooked now, especially when people talk about Mel Gibson. They talk about Lethal Weapon or his funny business that he did in the late 2000s. His racism. But this is not political talk. This is about the movie. The film's directed by John Banham. People that were born in the 80s like me remember him. He directed War Games, the original, Blue Thunder, and Short Circuit, the original Short Circuit. He also did American Flyers, which I was not a big fan of, Point of No Return, Drop Zone, Nick of Time, Incognito, and did a bunch of TV shows and TV movies. I do like the director because knows how to hold the camera, so you see everything that's going on. The movie has amazing stunt work. It's some of the best I've seen from an early '90s film before Terminator 2. It's really really funny. I think Goldie Hawn and Mel Gibson have great chemistry together. The movie's produced very well. Rob Cohen produced it. He did some of the Fast and the Furious movies, and he directed the third Mummy, which I think is also underrated. It was written by Louis Vanasta and David Seltzer. It feels like a early '90s movie from from director like John McTiernan or from Shane Black. Yeah, it feels like that. David Seltzer was one of the screenwriters for the original The Omen, so that's why the movie was well written. He also wrote Lucas. He wrote uh, Omen 3, Omen 2. Well, that's a character agent. He wrote Shining Through, The 18th Angel, My Giant Dragonfly. He's done some good stuff. I do like his script in this movie. It's very witty. It's very 90s, so you don't see anybody texting or using Bluetooth or Wi Fi. No, it's all old school practical computers and phones. There's a cell phone in it, but it's one of those gray cell phones that, rich people used to have. It looked like a walkie talkie. I like the look of the film. They go to different locations. They go to Jersey and Atlantic City. They go to New York City briefly, though. It's not very much. Most of the film takes place in Detroit, Michigan, like in the first two or three RoboCop movies. It really looks well done, and I'm like, why does this movie bomb with critics? What the hell were they expecting? Something deep and meaningful? It's an early '90s film with Mel Gibson, and it's a PG-13 one at that because it's not very violent. But there is some partial nudity, so that's not for kids. You won't see this on Disney Plus, and it's got also some curse words in it. Some very minor ones that they use in the MCU, but it's uh, it's still a PG-13. It's a strong PG-13. And guess who did the score for this movie? Hans Zimmer, the guy, Nolan's boy, that he does the musical score for every Christopher Nolan movie, including Tenet, which is still not out yet. But he did a good job with the score. It gets me invested. There's a lot of tension in the action sequences. You got three great actors playing villains. You have Bill Duke from Predator and Commando, and you have David Carradine, may he rest in peace, Kill Bill, the villain from the Kill Bill movies, and then you have Stephen Tobolowsky. I've seen a lot of stuff with him. He's the principal from the Goldbergs, and he was in Groundhog Day. He's done a lot of good stuff. I like that actor. And there's not one Brit in the movie. Yay! Hooray! Could be done even 30 years ago. Now everything has to have them. But back in the '90s, no. They said to hell with your stupid freaking bints. We don't need that. The director is from the UK, but he's still a better director than a lot of the directors now, like Guy Ritchie. I mean, get out of here. You can't direct. And even Kenneth Branagh has lost his way. I mean, what did he do this year? He went from Thor to freaking to Artemis Fowl. Yeah, I guess you can't win them all. This director I really enjoy. It got a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why? It's a good movie. It's funny. It's consistently awesome. The cinema score was a B plus. I would say it's a good movie. It's a B plus. It's not a horrible movie. There's some problems though. The movie's too long. I think that you could cut some. There were some scenes you could have cut completely out. The scene with the gay hairdressers that was not needed. Nowadays, that's in everything. We don't need the gay agenda in a comedy. It's not funny. There was another scene that there's a scene in a hotel where Goldie Hawn's taking a shower. Not a problem, but then there's a cockroach in her hair. It's disgusting. I'm like, ugh. That's also could have been cut. There was also this birthday party in the beginning of the film in Atlantic City that could have easily been cut with the Mexicans because it leads to nothing. It's just there to fill time. That wasn't needed. The film was a $20 million budget, distributed, and it's a good movie. If you've never seen this movie, if you have Peacock, watch it. It's still there. It's worth streaming at least once. It's a very fun, very fast paced movie. Like the action starts around 20 minutes, and the movie is basically a cat and mouse game where Steve Domblowski and Bill Duke and David Carradine are looking for Mel Gibson in the movie. I forgot to read the synopsis because I don't have the film. I would love to get this movie on DVD. It's an old flame discovers her ex-boyfriend from the past is a relocated FBI informant to stop the bad guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. It earned it. It's a really fun movie. I don't know what the hell the critics were smoking when they're like, "Oh, this movie's mediocre. Mel Gibson could do better, but he can also do worse, guys." Let me see what they said about it on Rotten Tomatoes. Here it is. 32% my ass. This gets a lower rating than freaking action comedies that came out like Spy Next Door. I mean, The Spy Who Dumped Me and all that. That's not for me, guys. Let me just read one of the synopsis wasn't there, the consensus, but I don't understand why the movie. It did well, made a lot of money. Let me read the quote. We don't believe the characters, and so the elaborate chases and escapes and stunts and special effects are all affectation. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I think the movie is affectionate. I cared about the two leads because they're not freaking foreigners shoving agendas in my face. And the movie's it's a lot of fun. What, critics don't like to have fun? Can't they shut their brains off and enjoy an old school action comedy that's actually funny and has decent action? It's not all this fast edits, shaking the camera, too much CGI, stupid cartoonist bullshit like in the Fate of the Furious. Yeah, this is better than Fate of the Furious and Hobbs and Shaw. Why? Because they're not flying. The cars are not flying in the air. The cars are not. The cars explode. There's real cars in this movie. It's not CGI or someone getting hit by a bus and then they survive that. Or I'm the block Superman. Get out of here. It's not funny. That's stupid dialogue. That's really stupid. Here, Universal did a much better job. This movie didn't have a bad sequel. It's fun. It's fast paced. It's not 2.5 hours long. It doesn't have Vanessa Kirby in it. I'll take Goldie Hawn at 74 years old now over Vanessa Kirby now. Yeah, I would. I bang an older lady any day over a freaking bint that can't act and is not sexy to me. That doesn't add anything to the plot. At least she does something in this movie. Goldie Hawn's not just a damsel in distress. There's some scenes where she takes some action and does something. She contributes to the plot. The movie made its opening weekend made 15 million and went on to gross 138 million worldwide on a budget of 20. That's awesome. Why we didn't get a sequel, I'll never know. But it's a fun movie. It's very fast paced. It's funny. The two leads are really good together. It's a PG-13, so it's not too violent. So if you have kids, I would just say fast forward the nudity scenes because you can easily cut those. But it is a fun movie. It's definitely something I'm glad I finally saw as an adult. It was mostly filmed in British Columbia, Canada. So yeah, Josh Baker, they filmed it in your home country. It's good. It's a really really well shot movie. Like nowadays, when a film is filmed over there in Canada, you can tell because it looks like Deadpool or Shazam. They have these giant buildings and the roads are like this. It looks different, but it's well done. Also, you have a small cameo, like an extended cameo from Joan Severance, one of my favorite actresses from The Black Scorpion, and from No Holds Barred. She's not in the film that much. She has one scene where she's healing Mel Gibson with some medical supplies, and then she's shooting this guy with a shotgun. So that's cool. Always good to see Joan Severance. And there was no actors that annoyed me. The only thing you could have cut out completely was the gay subplot with the freaking hairdressers that they call him, I don't know, Mandy or Maddie or whatever. They hug him, and it's very stereotypical. It's not needed. And you know how I feel about that, guys. I'm not homophobic. I just don't need it in my freaking action comedies. It's just not necessary. It's a cheap laugh that I don't find funny. But anyway, the movie itself was very funny and very entertaining. As an action comedy, it works better than a lot of them in the past 5 or 10 years. That's not from the MCU. So anyway, that's Bird on a Wire from 1990. It's freaking awesome. See it, guys. Please see it. If you have Peacock, I would advise you see it because it's worth your time. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.